John Devereaux.
Yep.
John Burnell.
John Regan here.
John Regan. Yeah, all right. Rick Riley, present. Laura Gandia.
Present.
Al Gibbo.
Here.
All right, so we actually have 5 members tonight. So Greg, I appreciate you showing up. And Eric, I appreciate you also showing up as well. We'll go with the 5 members that we have here. You're welcome to stay. Again, I definitely appreciate it because I just got some last minute confirmation, so just needed to make sure we had all the bases covered. In terms of the agenda this evening, we have a couple cases to hear. Case number 2014-01, which we will hear first. Our second case on the agenda is case number 2014-02. We will get to that provided we have enough time at the end of hearing case number 2014-01. So with that being said, what I could do is probably ask for a little bit of help getting the application or the... Would you mind helping me out with that? Thank you, please.
Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
All right, this is case number 2014-01. Name of the applicant is Leonard Vigent. Address 5 Mockingbird Lane, Hudson, New Hampshire. Owner, tax map 1, lot 1. And he's also the owner of tax map 2, lot 2, based on the recent deed. Location of property is 1 and 2A Charles Bancroft Highway. Description of property, 5.82 acres of vacant land and 0.344 acre and portion of existing house lot. This is an application for a variance. A variance is requested from Article 700, Section 701 of the zoning ordinance to permit a residential use of 5 lots in the southwestern commercial district.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll hear from the applicant or the applicant's representative. The board will ask any questions that they may have. We will then ask for any input from abutters, and we will follow up with any questions we may have after that period. And at some point, once we've gotten through all of the public input, we will close public input and the board will discuss what they heard and decide whether we have enough information to vote on the case this evening or not. So with that being said, Attorney Perlman, if I could, just turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Folks, Len Vigent just introduced himself a moment ago. I phoned in. I'm Andy Perlman, attorney with Prunier and Perlman for your applicant, Len Vigent. And I have my presentation to make, I have evidence to submit, and then I will go through the 5 variance criteria. We are seeking a variance for this lot that is 16 acre, no, how big is the lot, Lynn?
16 total.
16, oh, okay, 10 acres in Hudson, 6 in Litchfield. It's 1 lot today. And this is in the Southwest Commercial District, and seeking a variance to allow residential use in this commercial district. And I want to begin by showing you what I'm calling the old plan and the new plan. And I'm going to start, and John will have you as my passer-over guy. And I have 5 copies of that plan. What you have coming to you right now is the 8.5 by 11 is the old plan, and then I'm going to the next up is the new plan that we're going with tonight. And I want to point out to you John, I didn't want to look that. I think you want to. Thank you. So if you have I can start with the old plan. The old plan,
Excuse me, Attorney Pearlman, before you continue, did she get one of those?
no,
any
I
chance?
only had 5 of them, but I'll
more here.
steal John Devereaux's in a moment.
Who needs one?
3, 4,
I just want to make sure we mark them, so when,
Yeah.
6.
There's a bunch of these big
No, but
ones.
I'm sorry, I only had 5 of the old plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The old plan was in the original application.
did you want to mark both of them before we?
Yeah,
continue?
I'm calling, the old plan exhibit A.
So the old plan will be Exhibit A,
Yeah,
and the new plan will be Exhibit B.
okay.
Thank you.
On Exhibit A, this is a courtroom. The old plan was submitted, at the time is, Len Vision did not own the house lot, that's out there today. Because you can see that the whole 16-acre parcel is made up of one 16-acre parcel here, and then there's the small house, or duplex lot that's out there today. That's the house that you see. Just to get our bearings, this is town property to the north, Wilson farmland to the south, state property on the other side. The Daltons, who are here tonight, are immediate abutters to the northeast. And when the property was submitted, the Len Vision did not own the small duplex lot at the time. And then by the time we made the application, which the old plan, Exhibit A, was originally submitted, and by the time we got to the meeting last month, Len had indeed closed on the duplex lot, which allowed us to go with the new plan, Exhibit B. And the new plan came about in part because of that transaction, but also in part because the Daltons met with Kevin Lynch sometime, I want to say maybe in April or May. And the Daltons were very concerned about the old plan with the road coming in right next to their house. And there may have been some question about there being enough distance, 50 feet to put a road in. And so once Len closed and acquired the new lot, that enables us to do the new plan. Because you can see this big lot, when it was subdivided years ago, it intentionally left these are 50-foot strips in between the Dalton property and this duplex lot, and then this duplex lot to the property below it. So it was, leaving a 50-foot strip tells us that someone intended that there be roads going in. And so originally, with the old plan, we had the road coming in here and snaking down. But with a new plan, it does 2 things. It moves the road away from the Daltons, all in Hudson. It eliminates a curb cut right next to the Daltons, which I know most people like. Jack Pinciero, the road agent, likes, the DOT likes. And it also provides a really good buffer for the Daltons, which I showed them last month, and they seem to express an appreciation that because the existing duplex lot is proposed to change from the rectangle it is today, like a trapezoid rather, but into this L-shaped lot, so the duplex would be right here, right next to the road, and then there would be an area, heading northward behind the Daltons. So it creates a buffer area for the Daltons from the rest of the project. So with Len acquiring this duplex lot, it did a lot of good for the whole project. The proposed road is a right-of-way, is intended to be entirely in Hudson, which, again, Jack Pinciero likes because it's entirely in Hudson. And I'll come back to Jack because I spoke with him and I'll tell you what he said. The new plan, because the new road is entirely in Hudson, enables the Hudson process to get going, which it has. The Hudson Conservation Commission has had a site walk. The engineers are preparing an application to the Hudson Zoning Board and Planning Board to begin that process for a wetland special exception and planning board approval. And that point is important for you guys to take in because south of the town line,
This project is going forward. This is an allowed use residential district in Hudson. I have the Hudson tax maps, zoning maps I'm gonna come back to in a bit. But this portion of the project, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 lots plus the duplex lot. Well, we'll have to work through that. But this portion of the lot, the road is going in, intended that, these lots do get built out.
The nature of this lot is probably one of the more unique lots that I've ever come across. I've been doing this for years, and I have never come across what do they call it, a town line split zone lot. It is, I'm sure they're out there, but I don't know of any in Litchfield or Hudson or Londonderry. But it is a commercial district, residential district, town line, all encompassing, one lot. It's as unique as they come. We have some other subdivisions in town where the subdivisions cross town lines. Is that zoning map? Exhibit C. And there are a couple of instances in town where there are
In color.
projects and subdivisions that have this, an entrance is in one town and an access is in another. In particular, if you look at the very bottom, if you're familiar with Circle Drive off of Old Derry Road, that's a good example. Teenager, up at the northeast corner of town is a recent subdivision, same type of thing. They have to access Londonderry and Litchfield simultaneously. But all those were done without any split zone lots, as far as I know. They were in allowed use at the time they went in. So I don't know of another one like this. They may be out there, but this is as unique as they come. I doubt very much you folks have seen a lot like this. Just to talk about some of the due diligence I did, I spoke with a number of people, Kevin Lynch obviously. I talked to Jack Pinciero, and I will tell you that he looked at the old plan that had the road coming in from Litchfield and dropping down to Hudson, and he said, that's fine. I will work that out with the road folks in Hudson, and he said, we'll probably pick that one up because Hudson plows a couple of our roads, because of unwritten fair share. He said, but I particularly like this because this will prevent the bus from turning around the marker down at the south end of town. On the very south end of the Charles Bancroft Highway, we have an old stone marker, Charles Bancroft Highway. And if you look at it, if you know what I'm talking about, there is a kind of a dirt track, road track. And what happens is, I've seen it, the buses kind of loop around it, and it drives road agent Jack Kinsale crazy.
Is this right across the street from that?
Yeah, it really is. It is, that road marker is like roughly right in here,
Okay.
right? Because it's right at the beginning of the town line.
So you're saying that the bus would take this turn and go around the cul-de-sac?
Yes, because the bus would be picking up kids.
On Litchfield, yeah.
Is this where the White House is on the, there's like a White House with a small
Garage,
fence in the
side
front garage, yep.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is there's a kind of a split level duplex.
Yep.
Is this one, and then there's a little space, and then the Dalton house that has a small garage off to the
Okay.
side.
Okay.
It's right here, that one's white, it's like an old L-type building, or home. And again, the Daltons are here, and certainly they welcome to chime in along the way. So Jack Pinciero actually likes this because, it'll force, a resolution of that turn that he doesn't like around the old marker. I spoke with Joan McKibben because I asked her if she was aware of any unique features about the wetlands that are gonna have to be crossed with the new road, and she said no. She was not aware of any vernal pools or anything that would hold this back. Her one comment was when we
get to the design. She would like to see the interior of the cul-de-sac landscape and not asphalt. I thought that was her one comment to this thing. I spoke with Don Wilson. Don Wilson, fair notice, disclosure to all, is a client of mine for his Litchfield properties, but in talking with Don Wilson, the Wilson properties in New Hampshire own the field immediately south of this project. He said, I have no objection, provided that there's some buffer along the southern boundary from his farm. He said, I'm not gonna show up, I'm not gonna say anything, but you gotta promise me that there's gonna be a buffer. Very much like the Gilchrist Farms condo project that's on Charles Rancourt Highway, directly across, in between Page and Talent. Not Page. Yeah, Page and Talent. And the site plan approval for that condominium was approved with a condition that there be a vegetative screening buffer on the south side as it faces the Wilson Farm Fields, and it works. I was there a couple weeks ago. They have a grove arborvitae, fully mature now, and Don Wilson said, if you give me something like that, I have no objection to this process. I spoke with Bill Oleksack. Bill Oleksack is the zoning administrator for the town of Hudson. You remember we had some discussion last month about notice to the town because we're right on the town border.